All right, boys, welcome back. Here we go again. Back on the transmission stuff. Last video we talked about the what the transmission is and all the parts we put in the pickup and all that kind of stuff. So what I got to do with this transmission is I have to build a shifter linkage for the shifter because, well, there's a good reason behind it. So first off is my plan. So this is the stock shifter that Tremec sends with this transmission. Again, this is a Tremec TKO. If you didn't see the last video. TKO 600. This is going in I'm going to put this in my 79 to GMC C15 is what this is going in. But anyway, back to this. This is a stock shifter that comes with this transmission. And so the beauty of this transmission and part of the reason why I bought it is because it has 3 shifter locations. This plate comes up and this plate comes up, and they can both be locations for shifters. This is obviously the stock spot. You can pick this up, turn it around and set it back down, and I'll move this back here, like 3 or 4 inches. You have your center position, your front position. A big part of the reason that I bought this transmission is because it has that front position. And I thought, doing some measurements and looking around and things like that, I said, perfect. That'll work out great. I can put it in the truck. It will come up through the stock hole in the trans tunnel and it'll work out great. Well, apparently, at some point in time, Tremec did something really stupid, and they sold exclusive rights to that front shifter spot to a company called Fortes. I don't have anything against Fortes. I don't know anything about them. What I do know about them is that they want $800 for the shifter that they make for that front spot. I'm just not going to pay that. Will I have some scrap steel around, some tools, and I can make it happen. I'm just going to build something, and it'll work just fine. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to build something. I kind of started this yesterday. Now this is just a piece of 1x1, 120 wall square tubing. I cut this down like that. And what I plan on doing, get this out of the way. My plan is to ride this like that. Right? I'm going to weld some flat bar in here. So it's going to go around this and is going to sandwich this shifter to this piece of square tubing. And then on the front here, what I'm going to do is this, with this back, is going to be the actual base of the shifter. I'm going to use this, whatever you want to call it. I don't remember what it's called, but I'm going to use this thing. That's going to be the bottom of it, and that's going to be the pivot for the shifter itself. Now, after all this is done, I'm going to use, after all that's done, I'm going to use the stock shifter that came out of the truck, put it in the stock position, location, whatever, and it's going to look like factory on the inside. You're not even going to be able to tell from the inside that anything's changed, because I'm not going to paint this, I'm not going to do anything to it. It's going to stay just like it is. Now you might be asking how I'm going to go from a square tube to a round tube. Well, what I'm going to do, basically the same idea I have down here, is I'm going to put some flat bar on the outside of this, and it's going to go around this. What I'm going to do is cut a 1-inch piece out of this so that it'll sit this way, and then underneath it will sit like this, and then the shifter, the stock shifter, will sit on top of that piece. I don't know, I'll just show you. And then absolutely none of that stuff happened because I got sick, got the COVID, got better, and here we are. This is what it looks like now. What we did is right here on this here transmission, we got our called a link built. It's not like on there yet, but it's real tight in here, which I kind of wish I wouldn't have done because I want to put some type of bushing in here, whether that be Delrin or whatever. And then the front side worked out better. Now I know this looks hokey, like it looks kind of junky, but I promise you it's going to work great. Actually, I'm going to show you that it works great. So what this is right here, if you don't notice, is I ended up giving up the idea to use a Heim joint, and I went with this, which is this is actually a steering shaft linkage. It's like a U-joint in here with 2 yokes type of deal. Then I welded that to just a regular old steel plate, which I have that steel plate through bolted with the stock cover plate for that particular shifter position. And it just so happened, if you remember what the old shifter looked like, it had like an extension tube right here on the end, and then it had this weird like collar dealy around right here. It just so happens that that shifter was already machined or whatever, and it fits into that absolutely perfectly. So I can shove that down in there, and I'll be able to tighten this down through this hole right here, and then this link comes up to right there, and it works. It shifts. Everything works great. And there is enough room up here at the top. There is enough room right here, so I don't have it all. Let me bolt it together. Okay, so here we have it bolted together. You can see this is at an upward angle, obviously, because I didn't want to try to bolt it into the actual link here. I wanted it to go through the shifter itself. Now, in the truck, I have a roughly 6 inches of room from this plate to the top of the trans tunnel. This bolt is at 6 inches. It's like 5 3/4 from the plate to the top of the bolt. So we're all good there. Now the trans tunnel has a huge hole in it. The way that the old shifter worked, or the old transmission worked, is the top housing for the shifter is enormous. It's like literally 2.5 3 inches across. So the cutout that's in the tunnel already is huge. So it's going to be plenty big for what I'm doing here. I considered trimming this down. I don't think I'm going to, unless it doesn't fit in the truck. I think it's gonna. I'm not 100% sure though. So we'll see how that works out. So I am gonna paint this just for like rust and things like that. But this is pretty well done the way it is. There is enough room up here by this shifter. I'm gonna be able to put bushings in up here, and it does work when the transmission doesn't flop around on me. But yeah, you can see you shift. I mean, what was that? You can shift the transmission, come over to you to first, and it's very obvious that you're stopping, you know, in gears. You can come over. So there's neutral, come over, that's first, second, back to neutral, third, fourth, and it's a fairly, I don't know, I'd call that like a 5 to 6 inch shift pattern, which for a pickup, you know, no worries. I mean, it works. It does everything that it's supposed to do. Shifts like it's supposed to, and it's going to work out. It does look kind of hokey. I mean, I'm not gonna deny that at all. This is not like a pretty setup, but it is going to be under the truck, and it should work. Well, it's not should, it will work just fine. I don't know if I have to massage my trans tunnel a little bit to get this to fit and to get this to fit, I will. I don't really want to cut this. I don't know why, but I feel like cutting this is a bad idea. But anyway, that's the setup for the shifter. We got it all set up, all done, put together. We're getting ready to start installing parts on the truck, not just goofing off. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a big thumbs up. If you're here for the first time, hit that subscribe button. We'll see you all in the next one.